Hello, Senpai Recap is here. Please consider subscribing and don't forget to turn on the notification bell so that you are always updated with our uploads. Taosuke Rokudo is a first-year student at Aomori High, a school full of delinquents. He is often bullied by his classmates due to his incompatibility with their behavior, the only exception being his two good friends, who are also social outcasts, Masaru Colonel Hinamoto and Kauta Chief Kijima. Frustrated at the way they are treated, the three wish they could stand up and claim the fun, peaceful school life of their dreams. When the losers gather at Rokudo's place, he receives a mysterious package from his long-deceased grandfather. Inside the box are a priest's uniform and a mysterious scroll passed down through his family since the Japanese Heian period, a scroll said to possess the power to save him from impending danger. Upon holding the scroll, a sudden glow emanates, leaving a strange mark on Rokudo's forehead. The next day, on his way to Aomori High School, he gets punched in the face by someone who wants some money. However, the girl tells the guys to stop picking on Rokudo. In class, Inuma and Takeru are about to pick on Rokudo again, but Inuma's girlfriend, Tsubaki Takabana, tells him to stop and pick on his loser pals instead. Later, at the boys' bathroom, Tsubaki even apologizes to Rokudo and promises not to pick on him again. The friends believe the Onmyaji power must have some sort of effect, as they notice bad girls are noticing Rokudo. Then Inuma confronts Rokudo and accuses him of doing something to Tsubaki because her phone wallpaper is now Rokudo's face. Rokudo then remembers Grandpa's words about the scroll. It makes you attract bad girls. Panicked, he runs away but bumps into Rana Himawari, a bad girl who is just fresh beating the hell out of a group of delinquent guys. Her hand is covered with blood, adding to Rokudo's shock. The next day, Rana becomes a transfer student in Rokudo's class. Takeru tries to act tough to find out more about her, but she ignores him. When Rokudo asks, she eagerly and gracefully responds. However, when Takeru punches Rokudo, Rana whacks his head with her table. As a result, he ends up in the hospital and is unable to remember much. Even if he does recall, he becomes traumatized by her monstrous strength. Later, Inuma meets a friend who is also beaten by Rana. The man was scared of how brutal Rana was and is now terrified of her. Meanwhile, Rokudo can't take it anymore and tries to run away, but his friends don't want to be victims of Inuma's thug's revenge. Plus, is he going to abandon a girl? Then Rana appears and apologizes for what happened in the classroom, but Rokudo tells her that he is going to protect her from all the bullies that are in the high school. However, Rana misinterprets that and vows to slaughter all the delinquents he hates tomorrow morning. The next day, more bad chicks draw closer to Rokudo. They only leave because the top apex predator, Rana, is showing her foul mood. She greets him cheerfully, and Rokudo asks her if she remembers all the promises they made before, and she answers yes. Later, Inuma confronts Rokudo. He asks him how all the girls are siding with him, and he vows to beat himself up. The friends get scared and think Rokudo should seek Rana's help. Rokudo is about to do so, but he notices Rana is a bit messed up. Several delinquents approached her, and although they were easily taken care of, she kept her promise to him by not fighting back, or at least not making any fatal moves. This is when Rokudo realizes his worth as a man. In order to be manly, he will settle this himself. This means calling out to Inuma and facing the delinquent himself. But deep down, he is nervous and scared. Inuma gave him a chance to punch first, but his punch was weak. So Rokudo gets a taste of what a real punch feels like. When Inuma says they should be grateful to be alive despite being at the bottom of the ladder, this is when Rokudo snaps and disagrees. Then here comes Rana. His friends told her about this and needed her help. However, as she is still sticking to her promise, she can only see her anger as she watches Inuma throw more punches at Rokudo. Despite all that, Rokudo won't fall. But at his limit, it was when Rokudo sought out Rana's help. In a flash, she jumps in to punch the aggressor. It's like Inuma's life flashed before his eyes. Once a weakling, he was bullied for being afraid of thunder and lightning. And now Inuma has fallen. Afterward, Inuma might be fine in the hospital, but he has no regrets, because Rokudo isn't as weak as he thinks he is. The next day, Rokudo and his friends admire the kindness of their class rep, Ms. Wei Chuyukuza. But the friends also thought that Rokudo's powers didn't really match the good girls. Later, Enuma calls Rokudo to hang out and eat with him. He also introduces his other delinquent minions from another school. Isn't one of them the guy who tried to mug him? However, Rokudo pretends he never met him before, and they all become friends over ramen. When it's over, Enuma warns him that he is being targeted by Amori's top delinquent, Osata. True enough, Osanada's minions approach Rokudo to tell him to meet the big boss. Enuma asks Rokudo's next action. Will he run or fight? If Rokudo is going to fight, Enuma will stand up for him. However, his loser friends want him to rethink this. Rokudo notes that he won't run away anymore, and all this happened because he stood his ground. The friends agree to stand by him and live out their normal school lives. Of course, Enuma won't just be on Rokudo's side. He's got Rana, too. Rokudo will settle this as he learns the shocking truth that Osanada is actually a girl, Sayuri Osanada. The next day, Osanada went into Rokudo's class just to pick a fight with him. The spell isn't working, and Osanada hasn't fallen in love with him. When she sees Rana and is put out to think she is Rokudo's girl, Rokudo thinks that because she doesn't understand the concept of love, that's why the spell doesn't activate. The girls are about to get dirty, but Rokudo will not allow that and wants to talk. Osanada has had it, so she punches him. Only her punch is weak. She tests it out on Colonel, and damn, he is sent flying. The spell is working, but in some mysterious ways. Osanada decided to just talk things over, and she took him. Her base is in an old building of the school until they reach her room, which is decorated so cutely. She says she likes cute things, and then when she takes a closer look at him and finds him cute, Rokudo believes the spell is taking effect. However, this also gives him a flashback to his first love. His childhood friend, Miyu, was a prim and proper girl. Until a few years later, she got a boyfriend and turned into a delinquent. 100% changed into a different person. He doesn't want the same to befall Osanada since she is showing signs that she might be falling for him. So he decided he was going to turn her into a good girl. Rokudo says it's time to go back to class. Osanada mentions that she got held back twice, so she is actually in the same grade as him. Rokudo thinks this would be a good idea because now that she is interested in coming to class, he can help reform her. In the classroom, Ms. Wei asks the students what extracurricular activity they want to do and if they have any ideas. Rokudo suggests doing flower observations because there are a lot of different flowers in the school garden. However, some punks dislike the idea, so Osanada calls them out and wants to beat them out. Of course, Rokudo says violence is bad, so Osanada backs down and votes in favor of his idea. Rana supports his idea and everybody also agrees. Afterwards, the whole class observed the flower garden. Days have passed, and all the kids are enjoying the flower journals they created. But soon, one of Osanada's minions, Kurikata, wants her to meet and join up with the Onishima Union, as this is their big chance to become the top and unbeatable. However, Osanada prefers to stay in school and wants to quit this delinquent stuff. Kurikata won't give up yet, so he sets up some of the delinquent classmates to trample the flower garden. When Osanada sees this, she becomes mad. Kurikata betrays them and points out that they're the ones who did it. By the time Rokudo comes to check on her, she has beaten up all those guys. Kurikata says this is her true form, but Rokudo remains stubborn and says she is a sweet and nice girl. This is when Osanada admits that this is what love feels like. She admits she loves him, but goes with Kurikata to meet the Onishima Union guys. Obviously, they don't believe this little kid is tough enough, so see for yourself and learn the hard way how Osanada hands their asses to them. This is all part of Kurikata's way to climb up to the top, using Osanada as his secret weapon. A sad Rokiru seeks Rana's help. She wants her help to save Osanada from bad guys and to not get injured. Rana agrees, and anything for love. As Osanada has doubts about accepting to join the gang, here comes Rokudo. He starts reading the oral report. When other punks try to take him out, this is where Rana comes in to fend them off. Osanada is confused, as she could only stare at the chaos. Then Kurikata throws a few punches at Rokudo. However, he doesn't fall and continues reading until he finishes. Then he tells Osanada that he knows she has it hard trying to live up to her reputation of being the strongest. She doesn't have to do what she doesn't want and can start again at school. Osata protects Rokudo from Kurikata's attack. She tells him she's going to continue school. With the Onishima Union having reinforcements, Rokudo's friends are here to help them escape. The sprinklers are activated, and they throw a sweep full of wax. They take advantage of escaping by the back door, and they meet Inuma, who helped defeat the watchman at that door. Kurikata won't be going with them, as he'll find his own way. As they escape, Osanada notes that she'll give up on Rokudo because she believes he and Rana are already items. She's glad she felt this way about him. Azami Haimno loves police bikes and aspires to be the first to ride one. But she can't wait, so she's dressing all up and riding one now. Meanwhile, Rokudo just got his bike license, so he can go riding anywhere with his friends. Too bad Inuma gives him this lame-looking delinquent bike. Rokudo would love to turn it down, but seeing how he gave it to him as friends, you bet he'll accept this. As he goes for a ride, suddenly Azami rides up and starts whacking his bike. Since she's a bad girl, the charm activates, and in her swooning state, this allows Rokudo to escape. At school, Azami goes to Amori to introduce herself and return the student ID he dropped. Each time she thinks of him as a delinquent, she starts seeing him as her Prince Charming. But Ianuma interrupts him with his new motorcycle, which has a modification on the seat that now has a scorpion tail. Azami asks who is the owner of the motorcycle, and everyone points to Rokudo. She tries to get him to never ride bikes again, but he can't. She starts crying and leaves. Soon after, she returns with a sidecar and wants him to ride. He only obliges so as not to make her cry again. Azami tells him that motorcycles are dangerous and starts to accelerate, leaving Rokudo traumatized. The next day, the colonel showed them his motorcycle and told them about their ride tomorrow. Osanada squeezes the handlebars so hard that they get ruined. The colonel assures him not to worry because he will repair it. In that, Azumi arrives with a new motorcycle and introduces to Osanada that she is Rokudo's personal driver. Azami sees the colonel's motorcycle and tells him that it is beautiful. He also assists him in repairing it. At the end of the day, Azami offers Rokudo a ride to his house. Azami assures that as long as he doesn't ride any of those delinquent bikes, he can ride as much as he wants. Then she tells him her reason for doing so. Apparently, a real police biker saved her from one. It has been her dream ever since then. Azami would love to join his friends in tomorrow's ride, but she has something that she must settle with. On his way back, Rokudo encounters a guy who is asking if he has seen someone impersonating as a police officer and beating up delinquent bikes. He claims many of his friends have been injured by her. Rokudo is shocked to see Azami's picture as the culprit, but Rokudo also recognizes this guy's ring from Onishima Union, so he says nothing further. Rokudo returns to tell his friends all about this, so Colonel wonders if he's going to stick his neck out for every bad girl he comes across. If that is the case, his dream school life will never be achievable. Inuma then describes the guy whom Rokudo met. He is Aoi Furukawa and the third strongest in the Onishima Union. While he is polite and nice on a bike, he becomes a demon. Rumors had it he caused injuries to a motorcycle cop so bad he never rode again. Rokudo decides to speak with Azami, but how can he do it without her contact information? Well, he decides to ride one of those lame delinquent bikes to catch her attention. True enough, she comes chasing them while dressed as a police officer. Luckily, Rokudo shows his identity before she gets unruly. A flashback shows how a motorcycle cop came to her rescue from delinquents. She became obsessed with him and began faking accidents just to ride his bike. But one day, that cop got into an accident so bad that the culprit behind it was Furukawa. That is why she will never forgive him and will go settle the score. Meanwhile, Furukawa and his gang are preparing to take on Azami at tomorrow's rally. Rokudo and his friends contemplate their next move. As Rokudo puts it, it is only right to save a girl when she's in trouble. Because if they turn a blind eye to doing what is right, they'll never achieve anything. The next day in the afternoon, the colonel goes to the park, meets Rana, and tells her that Rokudo is not well, so the motorcycle trip is delayed a bit. She asks him the reason, but he says he does not feel well and leaves. Rana does not believe him, so she sits on the bench for an hour, waiting for him to arrive. Meanwhile, Azami is already engaging in a street race with Furukawa. He then leads her to where the rest of his pack is waiting. He wants her to join him, but of course, she refuses. Azami is not alone now because Rokudo and his friends are here on their lame delinquent bikes. Flashback shows Furukawa bored with life, so he did things that diced with death for thrills, including dangerous stunts on a bike on a public road. Furukawa suggests playing a deathmatch game of tag. Rokudo's friends will try to catch him on a bike. Doing so means they win, and he'll do whatever they want. The catch is that Rokudo will sit with Furukawa on his bike. If he flies off, the game is over, and Furukawa wins. Rokudo takes up the challenge. Look at him clinging on so tightly to Furukawa. The duel begins as Furukawa and Azami race ahead. Inuma and the rest stall the other biker gangs. They crash their bike to crash theirs and block the entire road. Then they do some fist fighting, but Inuma beats them all. When more Onishima Union guys turn up, now it is Rana on a chopper motorcycle, bursting their tires. Apparently, Rokudo left her out of this because she didn't want to get her involved. But Chief wants Rana to help Rokudo and bring him back. Rana, instead, will believe in Rokudo and will wait right here till he returns. More of a Furukawa flashback as he now remembers who Azami is. While he was performing dangerous stunts, a policeman tried to stop him. However, he dared him to catch up, and the policeman can also do some pretty neat stunts. He advised Furukawa to stop because he has become too addicted and dependent on his bike. Furukawa accepts that logic and will follow it if he beats him. But as Furukawa sped up the corner and hit a bumpy pothole, he fell off, although the policeman caught him. However, his bike was heading straight for Azami. The policeman managed to actually stop it from colliding with her. It cost him his riding ability. Furukawa panicked and fled the scene. Now, Furukawa claims that Azami doesn't value her own life and will stop at nothing to seek revenge, as evident in her menacing gaze. Will Rokudo pull off some of his magic to make her stop? Well, he claims he can. He turns around to face her and asks if she is scared, because he is scared of her ending up in an accident and dying. She admits she is, but if she doesn't put herself in such danger, it'll hurt even more. Rokudo says it's okay to feel this way. He is also scared, so let's fight together. Furukawa speeds up at the dangerous curve. He thought Rokudo had fallen off, but he is still hanging on, and Azami has caught him. Together, they emerge victorious. As they return, Rokudo apologizes to Rana for lying, but she's happy he's back. Furukawa's loss means the gang belongs to her. He also gives her the contact information of the policeman, so she can find him. She will also make him live up to his promise, which is that both of them go see the policeman. He may not be able to ride anymore, but he is still doing his normal police job. The policeman was happy to see Furukawa, bringing him to tears. Now it is time for Rokudo and friends to go for a ride. Rokudo rides with Azami, leaving Rana feeling disheartened. The next day, a couple of girls from another school are curious to see that bad boy who can make girls pass out. Well, they're gonna get more of what they bargained for as they see delinquent girls fighting over to carry Rokudo's bag. And then, with Azami coming by in a bike while Rana and Osata busting through the walls, you bet they better run for their lives. In the distance, we hear Ms. Wei narrate that she chose a Mori school because it's closest to where she lives. Now she regrets it because of the delinquents. But making it bearable is because of Rokudo, as he is kind. However, recently he changed, and now he is like the boss of delinquents. As Rokudo and his pals hang out, when Rokudo goes to get snacks, everyone in the room becomes wary of Rana, because she hardly talks to them. But Osata gets it going by asking her several things as she answers like a machine. They found out that Rana doesn't like sweet stuff. Rokudo returns, and she gladly tells him everything he wants to know about her. Her answers are all different now, as she likes the pudding. Later, as the group leaves, Rokudo gives Rana a hair tie as a thank you for always helping him. As Rokudo and his classmates clean the classroom, Rana is excited to be paired with him. However, Osata intervenes to teach her some techniques, choosing to partner with her instead. Her sullen expression says it all. The duo is like tearing down the classroom rather than cleaning it. Eventually, the cleaning is done, and Osata is sleeping on Rana's lap like a baby. Inuma wants the gang to meet up, but he slept in. So the girls meet up first, and because Rana shows up in her usual uniform, Tsubaki notes that Rokudo would love to see her in a different outfit so she can score more points. The girls go shopping for some clothes. Leave it to Tsubaki, the fashion maestro. They meet up with the rest at the cafe as Rokudo compliments Rana's feminine dress. But he thought the reason she didn't wear his hair tie was because it was lame. The reason she is wearing it on her wrist is because tying it up means she won't be able to look at it. Doing so makes her happy, as though she is with him. It's her treasure. Inuma gets down to business in discussing Onishima Union. Because Rokudo has defeated Furukawa, his name is now well known. This means the gang won't let him off the hook, and there are many other gangs too, although Onishima Union is the biggest. The leader of this is Doji Matsugamiya. Inuma adds about the gang's history. They disbanded 2 years ago after losing a fight with another rival gang. At that time, Doji was a nobody, but he somehow managed to rebuild the gang back up in 1 year, and now he is their leader. Inuma is worried about how to fight them, but Rokudo's immediate answer is to apologize. It might sound weak, but to make it clear, he has no intention of giving them trouble. Since everybody agrees to this, it looks like Inuma has to agree on this weak tactic. Meanwhile, Doji and his officers have found the school where Rokudo goes, and Doji is happy to have found Rana. This is the end of episode 6. Subscribe so you don't miss the next part. See you next time, and peace out.